So this is an example of recording inventory in a perpetual inventory system and using the setup in Excel, and we're going to do FIFO and LIFO. So let's start. So this example is April and May. So they start with beginning inventory, which they have 25 units at $1,200 per unit for a total of $30,000. Then they purchase 75 units at $1,240 for a total of $93,000. They sell units, 40 of them. Then they purchase more units at 60 units at $1,260 for $75,600. Then they make two sales, 50 units, 20 units, and a final purchase at $1,270. What we are going to do is fill out this spreadsheet in Excel to talk about the inventory, and we're going to calculate using FIFO, first in, first out, right? So we're going to sell the first items in, first out. So we're going to do this, and we're going to record this, and you can access this spreadsheet in Google Sheets or Excel on Moodle. So we're going to start with our first date, April 3rd. And so when we're starting with inventory, so remember, to overview what this is, we have purchases. So if we're making a purchase, we want to be in the yellow category, the quantity, the units, and the total cost. If we're selling something, then we want to be in the green category, which is cost of goods sold. And inventory, we're going to track all of the time. And starting inventory would start with inventory because we had already purchased that. We already have it on hand. So we have 25 units. I'm just taking this information at $1,200 a unit. And what is my total cost? Well, I can type in the number. I can use formula equals quantity times unit cost. So 30,000. So that's my beginning inventory. So it says on April 8th, so I'm following this chart, but I'm putting the chart so that we can calculate ending inventory and total cost of goods sold from April through the end of May. So we purchased more units. So April 8th is the date. Purchases go here in this yellow category in the column. So we purchased 75 units at $1,240 a unit. So 93,000. This equals unit cost times quantity, right? And they gave it to us above in the problem. So here is where we are going to create inventory layers, right? So we're going to create the inventory layers. So you want to maintain in your spreadsheet, right? We want to maintain layer 1 and layer 2 because we have two different items, two different purchase prices. So I'm going to bring down layer 1, which is 25 units, and I'm going to put over here L1, layer 1. And then I'm going to add my new purchased item. So I purchased layer 2, which is 75 units at $1,240, which I multiply here, which is L2, or inventory layer 2. So now I have two layers of inventory, and then let's see what happens. On April 11th, we have a sale of 40 units. So this is the first place that we're going to apply FIFO, first in, first out. So we look at layer 1, which is right here, right? And we ask ourselves, do we have 40 units? If not, then we first use all of those units, right? So we're going to get rid of all of layer 1. So 25 units times $1,200. So that's our total cost. And then how many do we have left? How many are we taking from layer 2? Well, we sold 40 and we sold 25 of them from layer 1. So 40 minus 25 equals 15 units. What are we selling them at? This price. So we're in layer 2, $1,240 a unit. That's our cost. So we're taking 15 units at $1,240, and that's $1,864. Do we have any of layer 1 left? No, we used it all. So we're not going to have layer 1. How many of layer 2 do we have? Well, we had 75 units, so equals the 75 units minus the 15 units, so we have 60 units left. What's our cost per unit? Well, it remains the 1240. And what's our ending inventory at the moment that we sell these? At that moment, it's 74,400. And L2 now becomes L1 because we only have one layer of inventory left. I'm going to go back here. All right, so now we've taken care of this sale. Now we make another purchase. So on May 8th, we're going to purchase 60 units at $12.60. All right, 60 units at $12.60, 75,600. What I'm going to do is I'm going to maintain L1. I'm going to bring it down. So this is exactly how it would work in Cengage as well. So I'm bringing down, maintaining layer 1, 60 units at $12.40. And I'm adding my new layer, layer 2, the new, which is 60 units at $12.60. Equals unit cost times quantity. This is now L2. So now we have 120 units in inventory. Now we're going to sell something on May 10th. So I'm scrolling right down here. May 10th. We are going to sell 50 units. Okay. So I'm looking at my inventory. I go to L1. On LIFO, on FIFO, we're selling first in, first out. So we're selling FIFO, first in, first out. We look at layer 1. Do we have 50 units? We do. So we can sell all 50 from layer 1. So our cost of goods sold is 50 units at $12.40 a unit. Now I'm going to bring down my layer 1. I still have layer 1 and 2 left. How many items do I have? I have 50 units, 60 units minus 50 units. Just made a typo there. Minus the 50, so 60 units minus the 50 we sold. So now we only have 10 units left of layer 1 at $1,240 a unit, L1, right? I still have the entire 60 units at $12.60 in layer 2. So L2. So now I have 2 layers still left. And I'm going to go back up to the table, and it says on May 19th, we sold 20 units. So I'm going to go May 19, and I'm going to sell. Now, first in, first out, I'm going over here to see if I have anything left. Do I have 20 units in layer 1? Nope, I only have 10. So I'm selling them all. I'm selling all 10 from layer 1. And then how many do I have left from layer 2 that I need to sell? Well, I sold 20 units, and I've already sold 10. So I have 10 that I need to take out of layer 2 at $12.60 in my cost of goods sold. Now, I no longer have layer 1. We sold all these. I have 60 units. I had 60 units. I sold 10 of them in layer 2. So I have 50 units at $12.60 left. This times this, quantity time, and this becomes L1 again. Remember, we're maintaining the layers, first in, first out. So whenever L1 gets sold, L2 moves up to L1. All right. Then it says, I purchased 80 units at $12.70. So my final thing here, on May 28th is to purchase. I'm going to purchase 80 units at $12.70. Okay. Well, I'm going to bring down my layer 1 before I calculate final ending inventory, right? We're keeping our inventory layers intact. So L1 is 50 units at $12.60. And L2 is what we just bought, purchased. 80 units at $12.70. So 80 times $12.70, and this is L2. L2. All right, so what is our ending inventory? Well, ending inventory is 63,000 in layer 1 plus 101,600. So this is ending inventory. So my ending inventory is 164,600. My COGS, or cost of goods sold, all I'm going to do is add up everything in the total column on cost of goods sold. I'm going to add all that up. So my cost of goods sold, using first in, first out, FIFO, so we're always selling the first layer first. So my cost of goods sold is 135,600. All I did was sum the total cost column. Inventory, we do not sum, we're keeping a running total. So all we do is if we have 2 layers left, we add them. If we have 1 layer, that's it. If we had 3, we would add those together. So that one's first in, first out. I'm going to scroll down in the spreadsheet. Oh, so we wanted to know what is ending inventory. It is this. What is cost of goods sold? And those are our ending numbers. All right. So here is the same table, by the way. And we're going to demonstrate what's the difference, what would we do differently if we were using LIFO, L-I-F-O, last in, first out. So now we're going to sell the last item in as the first item out. All right, so we're still going to start with starting inventory on April 3rd. We had 25 units. So I'm going to link this one so you know where I got it. 25 units at $1,200. My total cost is quantity times unit cost. So I still have the 30,000 in units. The next thing that happens is we're going to make a purchase. April 8th, we make a purchase of 75 units for $1,240 a unit, and my total cost is quantity times unit cost. So now we must maintain our layers of inventory. L1, I'm going to carry down. So this is my L1, the beginning inventory. And this is my L2, the purchase I just made. Oops. If I can link the right cell, right? All right. Equals 75 units times 75 units times, I'm not sure it's up to 350, 1240 equals 75 units times $1,240 or 93,000. This is my L2. So now I have the 2 layers of inventory. I'm going to look up here to my chart and it says we're going to sell 40 units. Okay. So LIFO, instead of going to L1 to start selling, I'm selling from the newest stuff, whatever the L2 or L3, whatever that layer is, the last layer we got. So I look here and I say, do we have 40 units? Well, actually we have 75. So yes, we do. So we have 40, we're going to sell 40 units at the $1,240 because that was the last item we purchased. We purchased 75 of them. So we're selling that. So we sold 49,600 in cost of goods sold. We're maintaining layer 1. So we didn't sell anything, so we have all of that beginning inventory still left. So 25 units at 1,200. How much do we have in layer 2? Well, 75 minus the 40, so we only have 35 units left in L2 because we're selling last in, first out. How much is that? 35 units times 1,240. So this is L1, L2. So we have 55 units at 2 different prices currently in inventory. Then on May 8th, oh, I forgot to put a date up here, so that was April 11th here. On May 8th, we make another purchase. We purchase 60 units at $1,260 for a total of $75,600. We are going to maintain inventory. Okay, L1, we're bringing it down. L1, we still have 25 units at $1,200. 25 times 1,200. We have 35 units. We still have L2 before we make a purchase. 1,240. So this is L2, and this is the first example when we have L3, I believe, in class. You might have had some for homework. So L3 is 60 units at $1,260. So $75,600. So now we have 1, 2, and 3. The next one says on May 10th, we are going to sell 50 units. So I'm going to go to the last thing we bought, which is the 60 units. Do we have 50? Yep, we have 60 actually. So we're going to sell 50 of these. So 50 times 1,260. So we sold 50 of this unit, this 1,260. I'm going to maintain my layers. I still have beginning inventory. I still have 35 units left of the $1,240 per unit items. And then I have 60 minus the 50 that we sold. Last in, first out. Last in, first out. So I'm going to do L1, L2, L3. So I'm maintaining currently 3 layers of inventory. We also had a sale. So any questions there? We also had a sale of 20 units on May 19th. So we sold 20 units. Well, I go to the last one. Do I have 20 units? So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to look at my inventory, and I don't. So I'm going to sell all 10 of the 1,260 units. So 10 units and 1,260. And then I'm going to sell 20, which is the selling, minus the 10, and I'm going to go up from the bottom. So L3 is gone. Now I'm going to L2. Last in, first out. So I sold 10 of the L2. So I'm not going to carry down L3. I'm going to carry down L1, always in the first position because I keep it in order, right? Actually. All right, L1. And my L2 equals 35 units minus 10 of them. So I have 25 of these left now. L2. And L3 is gone now. And then it says on May 28th, I purchased 80. May 28th, I'm going to purchase 80 units. I'm going to scroll back up so I can see the cost of $1,270 per unit. 80 units, $1,270. Okay, so I'm going to bring down my inventory before I get to final add up inventory. I have 25 at 1,200. I have 1,240. Oops. 25 at 1,240. And I have the 80 units I just bought is L3. 80 units, 1,270. So what is my ending inventory? Well, I have L1, L2, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. My ending inventory is layer 1, 2, and 3. Not the whole thing in here, right? Because this is a running total. Ending inventory. How many units do I have in ending inventory? Well, technically I would have 25 units plus 25 units plus 80 units. 80 units valued at 162,000, right? If I need to know the number of units. What's my cost of goods sold? Well, I'm going to add up in the cost of goods sold, the green column, the total cost column. So this is everything I sold. So 137,600. Now, this was a period of inflation or rising prices, right? My ending inventory is 162,600 and my cost of goods sold is 137. If you're using LIFO in a time of rising costs or inflation, then your ending inventory would be lower and cost of goods sold would be higher as compared to FIFO, first in, first out. That's because we're selling the most expensive items in a rising time first. So it's more reflective of the current market technically. Also produces lower taxes. So that is the example. I will post this and you have homework in Cengage in order to do more practice with Chapter 6, Inventory, FIFO, LIFO, weighted average.